Now, CD Projekt Red, I promise you, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, especially since you already have my money. And pre-order culture got the best of me again. I admit I pre-ordered Cyberpunk 2077, and I should have known better. Now, I admit, before the most stringent supporters of Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red auto-dislike this video, understand that I am a fan. I pre-ordered the game. I have probably 100 videos defending and hyping up the game on this channel, okay? I also understand that people's mileage will vary. If you're playing the game on a decent PC, you're probably not experiencing as many errors as those on current-gen PS4 or Xbox. I also understand that apparently some people on those base consoles are having very few bugs. They are the overwhelming minority, and you should consider yourself lucky. I also understand that CD Projekt Red came out today and owned it and offered a refund. This is something that Electronic Arts or 2K Games would never do. This also is not about individual developers, as I'm sure the task that they had was a mighty one, essentially having to create the game for the PS4, the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, 7 consoles. I also understand that current gen tech, expecting it to work flawlessly on existing gen tech would be like having some super up-to-date website need to have compliance to work on Netscape Navigator. I understand these things. I understand that with current outrage culture and internet culture, that things are never as bad as they seem. I don't think that you could call the game quote-unquote unplayable. I also think the bones of the game are very good. The game itself is worth playing, which is what is making people push through a lot of these bugs. The goodwill that CD Projekt Red has garnered over the years has led to people looking the other way with these errors. And I think that that's fine. When you have a record of fixing things and delivering to your customers, we can forgive a few things. Understanding that Cyberpunk 2077 was easily the biggest development project maybe ever in the video game space, considering how many consoles it had to span. But understand what I'm mad about is not any of that. It's not some random bugs. Look, I'm playing on PC. My experience is relatively good. What I'm mad about is that CD Projekt Red knowingly hid poor performance on current gen consoles. Knowingly hid it. Now, I'm sure individual developers didn't do that. And this is what happens when you have stockholders and shareholders and too many people who have their hands in the cookie jar, so to speak, to make rational decisions. You had 8 million pre-orders. Probably the overwhelming majority of those were on current gen consoles. They had already delayed the game several times. They knew they couldn't delay it again. This last delay was to work specifically, from what I understand, on the current gen consoles. Pre-order culture strikes again. This game is absolutely an amazing video game. Genre changing? I don't know yet. Will it be a billion-dollar franchise? Yes. Because CD Projekt Red is going to fix this game. I know they will. In fact, they've come out today to say that they will do just that. And that we'll have something resembling a decent, reliable working copy somewhere in February if you're a current-gen console player. But why didn't you just release the game in February then? We had already waited forever for this game. Why? Because you needed it in your year-end financials. That's why you went December 10th or 9th. I forget exactly what it was. It was, understand this. Please understand that I am not producing this video out of hate like I might for EA or Bugthesda, but out of love and disappointment for what CD Projekt Red did. It is extremely dishonest for them to purposely hide current gen performance. And I see a lot of defenders saying, well, you were an idiot if you thought it was going to run good on PS4. What? For the overwhelming majority of this game's development cycle, it was only going to release on PS4 and Xbox Series X and PC. For the overwhelming majority of the development period of Cyberpunk 2077, these consoles were what it was going to release on exclusively. CD Projekt Red is held to a higher standard, fair or not. And there are good things about that, like getting people like myself to pre-order from them when I wouldn't pre-order from anybody else. And there are bad things with that, which means I get to make this video and not feel guilty about it. If you don't call people out, even the ones you love, you're just a shill. Like, you get that, right? I see a lot of my peers afraid to say what must be said with CD Projekt Red because they don't want to get a bunch of dislikes on their videos. I don't care. I'm not saying that Cyberpunk 2077 is Fallout 76. I'm not saying it's the worst game ever made. It'll probably be one of the best games I've ever played. But the idea that CD Projekt Red openly and made the conscious decision, both in their review embargoes and in all of their marketing efforts, to hide current gen performance is unforgivable and something that we will always have to remember. If this was EA doing this or 2K Games doing this, there would be videos with millions of views saying exactly the same thing I'm saying right now. Look, I know I'm going to love CD Projekt Red and or Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm going to hold off on my playthrough till like January so we get a few more patches. And I'm probably going to play it more than once. And what's important here is that CD Projekt Red fixes this. Roasting them right now is cathartic, and I need this. But what they need to do is fix the game. You had 8 million people pre-order, plus millions more buying on launch day. The overwhelming majority of these people were current-gen console owners. You can't even get next-gen consoles right now. And just like any game, you're going to have fanboys and fangirls. I admit I am probably taking it easier on CD Projekt Red than I would on EA. Because I have bias, because they've treated the community so well. But understand that they made a conscious decision to only let reviewers review the PC version. That they would not let video game reviewers use their own footage. This is a game that, in spite of critics' love of hating things, still got a 90% on Metacritic. It's not a 90. It's probably in its current state not even an 80. If you look at the scores for the PlayStation 4 specifically, or the Xbox One with user reviews, it's a 2.9 on PlayStation 4 and a 3.9 on Xbox. These are thousands of ratings. So, game journalists, you were all too happy to get your review copies. You were all too happy to get that extra clickbait juice by having the Cyberpunk 2077 review on review day. But none of you, from what I've seen, have come out and said, I'm not going to review this game because I think you're hiding something. Why can't I play on PS4? Why can't I play on Xbox? You're all so happy to get your review copy because you wanted that clout. You wanted that clout. Where were the game journalists calling this out, saying, why can we only play on PC version? 100 out of 100. There's more than a handful of people that gave the game 100 out of 100, including IGN, which has been profiting off Cyberpunk for years. VG 24/7 gave the game a 100. Impossible! 100 is impossible. Even on highest end PCs, you still have bugs and errors. None of these people push back to say, hey, why aren't we, in their reviews, were any of them writing, boy, I wonder how this runs on current gen. Buyer beware. No. They loved getting their next gen consoles. They love telling their buddies, their fellow blue check marks, that they got a Cyberpunk 2077 review copy. And because of that, everyone ran out and bought the game on current gen consoles, because that's what, 160 million consoles out there? That's what most people have. Very few people have PS5s or Xbox Series X's. Somebody inside of CD Projekt Red made these decisions, and they should be absolutely fired. CD Projekt Red, they've got a lot of work to do, and I know that they're going to do it, and I'm optimistic that this will be one of the best games ever. But if you don't call out those that you love, you're just a hack. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you did, you'll leave a like. We'll talk to you again real soon.